This podcast is brought to you by Progressive. Are you thinking more about how to tighten up your budget these days? Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save over $700 on average, and customers can qualify for an average of 6 discounts when they sign up. A little off your rate each month goes a long way. Get a quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed in 2020. Potential savings will vary. Discounts vary and are not available in all states and situations.
The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Hoop Ball DFS Today podcast. I am your host, Mike Apatra, joined by my good buddy, the one and only Keith Cork, here for this wonderful Wednesday. It's May 21st. We got some play-in games, not play-off, not play-out, play-in games. I guess one team's playing out, but some good action. Keith, how we doing over there, my good friend? Been an entire week.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well, man. I just happy to have some playoff basketball in my life. I think we all are. So that first game tonight was a stinker. Obviously, we recorded the night before, so hoping this Wizards game turns into something pretty interesting. I think it will. So yeah, I'm excited, man.
Yeah, and that's part of the argument. Is it technically playoff basketball? Because I guess none of the stats count towards playoff, but they don't count for the regular season. They're just kind of sitting there floating around in the upside down.
I'll do one a little bit better here. It's a playoff or regular season, whatever you want to call it. It is meaningful basketball.
Yeah,
that's where I'm gonna rest. Okay.
No. I can understand that, you being a Bulls fan over there. I just had to take a quick jab. I just had to take a quick jab. I apologize. You didn't deserve that. You didn't deserve that. Neither did the Bulls and the Bulls fans out there. But we got some good basketball. You're absolutely right. Some meaningful basketball. And we kind of know what to expect. I think a lot of the times we get this meaningful playoff-esque or playoff basketball. It's tighter rotations, stars playing more minutes, older guys, veterans playing a little bit more. Things that you can take advantage of. But we're going to jump right into it, and I just want to give a quick shout-out to our presenting sponsors over at MyBookie. Guys, check them out. Head over there. When you sign up on their initial deposit, use that promo code HOOPBALL, HOOPBALL, and they will match your initial deposit 50% on up to $1,000. So you put in $1,000, they'll give you $500 for free. It is free money. You can use it in any way, shape, or form, whether you want to use it on sports betting or you want to head over to their casino platform. I know I was going to go to the casino last week. Santino talked me out of it. He told me to just hop on MyBookie. He said, I guarantee you got money floating around in there. He was right. Not a lot, but I turned it into a little bit more. And it was just playing some blackjack. So they have every type of card game, every type of slot game you could think of. They have it over there. So, guys, check out MyBookie, promo code HOOPBALL. Keith, my friend, Memphis Grizzlies defending against the San Antonio Spurs. So this game's going to be played in Memphis. For the Grizzlies, Grayson Allen, questionable. Sean McDermott out. For the Spurs, Daquan Jeffries, Lucas Samanic, Derek White, all ruled out, and Trey Lyles is questionable. 224.5 game total. Memphis favored by 3. I mean, it's quite simple. I think we were talking a little bit before on air about this, but these Spurs guys, I don't know who priced them. I don't know if this guy was asleep at the wheel. I don't know why they're this low. I think this is just an easy call for me. I'm going to probably have 2 to 3 of these guys in just about every lineup. I'll let you take the reins after that and just kind of start blurting out guys you like. And I'll just let you know where I'm at with some of those guys, I guess. But I like them all.
Yeah, man. Demar Derozan, 7K. Yeah, it's pretty low. What's going on there? I'm not exactly sure. DeJounte Murray, 6'3". I'll definitely take it. Take some stabs there, and then I really probably like Keldon Johnson at 4,400 the most. I just think if you're looking at that price range on this slate, you don't find a whole lot of guys that are that low that get that kind of usage and that kind of play time. So he's got 30, 40 DK point upside. and he's only 4,400. I'm definitely going to take some stabs there. But yeah, the main guys are probably the ones you got to look at the most just to fill in your roster, just because you're getting a lot of value, just because it's, these guys should be closer to 8K, and they're 7K, and then in DeJounte Murray's case, he's almost 6K. So not sure what's going on there. Who else you got that you're looking at?
I like, you said the bunch of them. I like DeRozan. I like Murray. I like Pirtle at 4,900. I think that's a little too cheap. The thing about this being, one of those tight matchups that we talked about, only 3-point spread, must-win game for both teams, might be one of those games where we see Jonas play hefty minutes. If that's the case, Pirtle's going to have to match those minutes. They don't have too many other bodies that they trust in this sort of situation. So Pirtle's probably looking at 30-plus in this, and if that's the case, 49. I like him a whole lot. I'm with you. I think Keldon Johnson's solid. I also think if you wanted to pivot and go to Rudy Gay at 4K, just like I said, sometimes targeting some of these veterans who play, 16, 18, 20 minutes the entire season, sometimes they do that for the reason. And the reason is so that they're fresh, they're able to play bigger minutes in this, and the rotations sometimes get a little tighter. And that goes for Rudy Gay and Patty Mills for me. I think, looking at both these guys, Patty Mills at 3,300, just a guy, he's averaging almost 20 DK points in 3 matchups against this team as it is. Pop's going to go to his guys, especially crunch time in a must-win game. So I just think targeting, getting 3 of these guys, any combination of them in your lineup, I think 4 might be pushing it a little bit too much, but they're all such good values. And in a close game with a 224.5 total, I don't see why playing 3 of them, even if you wanted to play 3 of the most expensive ones, isn't just a great option.
I agree. I'm right in line with you there. I think you're getting right on there, man. Definitely.
All right. We'll slide over to the next side of the ball on Memphis. I'll pass it over to you. Who are you looking at?
Memphis, I'm really looking at 2 guys. I'm not really looking at Ja Morant so much. It's just 8,300. I mean, you already mentioned 2 guys at the guard position, DeRozan and DeJounte Murray that I'd much rather play. So not really looking at too much Ja Morant, but I'm looking at some Jonas Valanciunas at 7,600. I know we were talking a little bit off air about that, and it is kind of a hefty price tag on the slate if you spend down to guys like Pirtle. You can probably afford some other things, afford a couple of the studs. So that might be a strategy, but I do like Jonas in the spot a whole lot. He's just been on a tear the last 10 games. He's had 2 games with over 50 DK points. He's had, I think it was 4 or 5 games with over 40 DK points in that stretch of 10 games. So it's just clear, looking at that last regular season game, he's just a huge part of their offense, and they really need him. So I'm hoping, like you said, he's probably going to have to play a lot of minutes here. I'm hoping he does, and I think he has a chance to go off. So I do like some Jonas, and I also like Jaren Jackson Jr. at 5,900. And this guy's also getting his legs under him, and he's starting to play a lot better, and playing more minutes is the key thing. So 5,900, if we can, we're gonna get 25, 30 minutes of Jaren Jackson Jr. Triple J. I'll take some of that Triple J threat. Probably some other guys I like a little bit more, but those are the 2 main Memphis guys I'm looking at. If Grayson Allen is out, you said so. You can look at some Melton. You can look at maybe some Dylan Brooks or something like that, but I just get or some Bane, but I just can't really trust any of those guys. It's just kind of a crapshoot in my opinion. You can take stabs at them, but I'm not personally going to stay away from the situation.
Yeah, they're a little too priced up for me. I think when they were down at 4K and 39, we were willing to take the stabs at them. But I talked about Patty Mills at 33. I don't want to sit here and say I love Patty Mills more than anything and plant my flag there. I will have a good amount of fair shares of them. Don't get me wrong. Not 100% though. $1,500 cheaper. It's going to come down to, when there's only 2 games, it's going to come down to ownership. It's going to come down to your construction, your build. That's why I think, like you said, like we were talking about before on air, I love Jonas. Is he in my initial build right now, though? No. It's simply just because I want to try to get 2 studs in the later game that we'll talk about. So if I want to try to get 2 studs, I can't pay up for Jonas. I can't pay up for Morant. You touched on Jaren Jackson Jr. I do absolutely love Jaren. I might be one of the bigger Jaren Jackson Jr. guys out there. I just been hyping this kid probably since I was saying probably the best big man before the draft happened. Over Ayton, over Bagley. He's a stud. This dude is a 5-tool stud. If he was playing baseball, he'd be a 5-tool stud. But just defensively, he's a beast. Rebounding, the game, he could do it if he needs to, but he plays a little further away from the basket, so he's never going to have those double-digit rebound games necessarily. And a guy like Jonas down low does tend to hog, but he stretches the game out too. He's a guy who has a great 3-point shot, and he could just get it done in so many different ways. You touched on it. The minutes are up. Played 31 in that last one. If there is a game where you imagine him playing 35, like you said, it's probably going to be the game where they need to win. So I'm all over him as well at 59. He's probably, him and Jonas are probably the 2 guys I look at the most. Again, Jonas comes down to build. Not really looking at too much else. all those guys feel priced appropriately, and they start to, drift off right into that, San Antonio range, where if I'm paying 58 for a guy like Brooks, I'd rather just play Murray. Ready?
Yeah, you're right. Totally right on there. Yeah, those like you said, those prices of those guys are just what keeps me away. Not that they're in a bad spot. If you want to take some stabs at some of those three guys I was mentioning, Bane, Milton, Brooks, and GPPs, totally understandable.
Absolutely, but let's get on to the juice, the sauce, as the kids would say, Keith. Golden State Warriors. Am I a kid? Is that, I don't even know anymore. I'm 30 years old now, so it's like I'm still. I feel old. Yeah. I'm not too old, but I feel like a good. I would say I feel like a solid 44, 45 when I get up in the morning. Everything cracks and creaks, and my girlfriend laughs at me because I'll sneeze and something will get hurt. It's just back thrown out. Too many 6 concussions, Keith. Too many sports playing. Wow. Yeah. I mean, she tells me to wear a helmet. No, that's the least of my worries. That's nothing. Golden State Warriors traveling to LA, taking on the Lakers. I gotta get my composure now. Damian Lee, Kelly Oubre, Klay Thompson, James Wiseman, all ruled out for the Lakers. Anthony Davis is questionable. LeBron James, probable. 223.5 game total. Lakers favored by 7. So the smaller the game totals, the larger of the spreads. Looking at this Golden State Warriors team, Keith, I already touched on my game strategy, I think, going into as of now. Yep. I do like some Curry. I do like some Draymond. I like both these guys. I don't know if I'm going to play anybody else on this team, just because I know I'm going to have a fair amount of share of both these guys. And kind of very similar to the Memphis thing. Wiggins 66, Bazemore 55. Starts to, Wiggins gets a little too close to DeRozan for me. I'd rather have DeRozan. Bazemore gets a little bit too close to, a guy like Murray, or even more than Pirtle. I'd rather have both those guys over him. The only play that either one of those guys come into play is due to position eligibility. If you're not playing DeRozan at small forward, there's not a lot of other good options, so I could see going that way. But it's just going to be Curry and Green, and I'm going to have a fair amount of both.
Yeah, that's understandable. I think we were talking a little bit off air, and if you want to do that Curry and whoever else, another star build, that's probably the way you go. For me, if I'm going to play some Jonas and I want to play some Valanciunas, I actually one guy I'm really looking at is Jordan Poole at 4,700. This guy has really stepped into the Kelly Oubre, bench scorer role. And the thing I like best about playing Jordan Poole is that he's going to be playing most of his uses. He's going to be the highest usage player on the Golden State Warriors on the court when LeBron James is off the court, most likely. And so I do have some interest in him there. And I actually think he's probably my favorite Warriors play. I do have a lot of interest from Draymond Green. And we were talking a little bit about Steph Curry. I totally get playing Steph Curry. He is the scoring title champion. He's taking all these shots. You ran through with me how many shots he was taking and everything like that. So I don't think you can fade him completely. You absolutely have to keep him in your player pool and play him most likely. But I don't know. It just kind of scares me because I've seen, he's going to get the LeBron James treatment, assuming that LBJ is close to 100%, which seems like he is. So it does scare me a little bit. It scares me off it a little bit. I understand, though, the reasoning, and the smart money probably goes with Curry. But if you want to go with that Jonas build, I like playing some Poole there as well.
Listen, and don't think I'm just going to be locked into only having one build. I do multi-entries. For my single entry, I'll probably take the more starts and scrubs approach. I feel pretty solid about the value that I'll have available. One in which, segue right there, Keith, right to the Laker game. Looking at this team, definitely a little bit of value I think I can take advantage of, and then I definitely think there's some studs I want to pay up on. Looking at Davis, looking at LeBron, I already said it. I want to get Curry with one of these guys. If I had to pick one of them, it would be Davis. 10-2, he's questionable coming in right now. He'll play. I imagine he'll play, and he'll play as much as he could. As long as he sees LeBron playing, there's no way that this dude's going to be able to get hurt and be like, yeah, nah, sorry, dude, I can't tough this game out for you, as he's sitting there. I know LeBron says he might be close to 100%. There's no way he is. This guy came back early because he needed to. It felt like he hurt it again. Then he missed another game or two. Then he's back, and now he says he's great again. I give this dude all the credit. He's the greatest basketball player on the earth right now, but I still think he's slightly hobbled. Now, does that mean I'm going to fade LeBron James? No, because it's LeBron James in a must-win game. So I just prefer Davis. I love the matchup. He put up 60 DK points on them earlier in the season. All the things feel like they're going this way. If Davis is playing big minutes, we can generally expect a big return from him. The only thing that we usually have to be concerned with Davis is the minutes, or is this guy playing? But when he gets 35 to 38, he's usually looking at about 50 DK to 60 DK points. So I like him. And then I think some value down here. Looking at Montrezl Harrell, looking at Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, both these guys I think are decent value plays. I prefer Pope. I like him at 4K. Again, just one of these guys that is a consistent player. When the time is right, when the minutes are big, he's going to play a chunk of them. I imagine that he's going to be used a lot trying to chase Steph Curry around the court. And for that reason, I think he's probably going to play about 35, 36 minutes. So at 4K, just being on the floor that often, he's not going to light the world on fire, but I can see him getting 20 to 25 DK points. Looking at both those guys, wouldn't hate it if you wanted to go towards Schroeder, but as of right now, he's just not making my initial builds based on construction.
Yeah, I don't know. 6-1 for Schroeder. I'm not going there. It's just not. I don't think I'm even having in my player pool. Definitely love some Anthony Davis. Definitely love some LeBron James. Both over 10K. Can I get them both in? Probably not if I want to play Jonas, but I actually like LBJ a little bit more. I don't know if I feel like it's splitting hairs a little bit. I know what you're saying about Anthony Davis. I just feel like, in this game it's going to be we're gifted to NBA fans because we get a 2018 here finals rematch of the stars in those games. We have Steph Curry, we have LeBron James. I don't know if there's really unfinished business here, but if there is, it's going to get solved here in this game. It's going to be a really good game, I think. So I just love LBJ in the spot. I love him in the spotlight. I love him in the big games. So I'm firing him up. And if I fit Curry in there as well, might want to run it back with him. That makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be able to get Jonas then, so I'll have to think about that. But and then you touched on KCP. I always love me some KCP. I think Caldwell Pope, Caruso, and Harrell, Trez. You can reach to any of those guys, and they're all in that 3.8 to 4.2 range. So one of those guys, I'd rank them probably Caldwell Pope, then Trez, then Caruso, so I probably land on KCP quite a lot in my builds. And so yeah, we're pretty much in line there. Except I prefer James a little bit more than Anthony Davis.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, can't fault you there, man. You're like the greatest basketball player on earth, better than Anthony Davis.
Well,
no arguments to be had. You won't get one down. That's what I mean. You're right. It's splitting hairs when it comes to those two guys. And I'm glad you brought up Caruso. He's another guy that should probably play a chunk of minutes. You're right. All three of those guys makes sense. If they're guys that when you just land on, you're cool with. You just hope that you get them on that day where they shoot 60 or 50% instead of 30 or 40, and you're probably looking at a pretty decent game from them. But that is it for us. So that brings us home. It's only 2 games. We have 4 teams, but we're still going to do a value tier. I'll pass it over to you. Go with your expensive guy.
Yeah, my expensive guy, just talked about him, LBJ, all the way. No, he's just, he asserts his dominance in big games, and as long as he's still, okay and off that ankle injury, he just shines in the spotlight. So I love him here to just try to make a point of this game. He hates that he's in the play-in game. He's been very vocal about it, so I'd like him to put his action behind his words and just have a big game. So LBJ is my guy. All
right. I'll go with the guy on the other side of the ball, Steph Curry. I still prefer Davis over him, but I don't want to give 2 Lakers. That's not fun.
This podcast is brought to you by Progressive. Have you tried the Name Your Price tool yet? It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be able to find a rate that works for you. It's just one of the many ways you can save with Progressive. Get your quote today at Progressive.com and see why 4 out of 5 new auto customers recommend Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I like Steph Curry just as much and for a lot of the same reasons. Dude's just been a pistol. He's been making a statement, wanted to go out, winning that scoring title, dropped 46 points in the last one, put 49 points up, or at least 46 points, and then 49, 2 out of the last 4 games. So I just expect him to, if there's anybody that's matchup proof, defense proof, it's a guy like Steph Curry that has limitless range, who's going to get a ton of shot attempts, a ton of minutes, a ton of usage. Sign me up. I am good with him, but we will go to the mid-tier. And this is a challenge because I want to say like everybody, but I'll let you go.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have Jonas Valanciunas here. I'm gonna go with him because I know you're not going to because he's not really in your builds right now, not in one of your builds at least. But no, I think, here I've actually got it here. In the last 10, he scored over 50 DK points in 2 of them, 40 and over 40 DK points in 5 games, and at least 30 points in 2 games over the last 10. So he's been on a tear. He tears up the Spurs. He's averaging 39.8 DK points against the Spurs specifically. So I just don't think there's a universe where he doesn't have a big game. Now, whether or not that value hits and makes a difference, that's really the question. 7-6 is a bit of a chunk of change to spend on the slate, so something to consider. But I think there's absolutely no reason he doesn't have a big game.
All right, can't fault you. I think I will go to a guy that we both talked about, Demar Derozan, 7K. Just a must-win game. Underpriced, should be more towards that like 7-8 to 8K range. So we're getting a pretty decent discount like we are on a lot of these Spurs guys. And when it comes to just kind of looking if I have the chop up, Murray and him, I think they're both equal values. A $700 difference for Murray, but we have a ton of point guards. We do not have a ton of small forwards I have an interest in. So looking at the eligibility, I'll probably have a fair amount of DeRozan. So I will rock with him, although I wanted to say about 5 other guys. So we will go to the value, less than 5K. There's a few guys I have interest in, but I'll let you start.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Keldon Johnson. It's 4,400. I just think that I think I said it when we were talking about the Spurs, but it's just around that price point, you're not going to find somebody that has as much playing time and usage as he does. So 4,400 is just a really good price tag. I know he's if you're looking at the splits on DraftKings, he scored 10 more DK points than against the opponent here than any other than his season average, but you have to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. Because the 3 times they played the Grizzlies were earlier in the season when Keldon Johnson was just, quite frankly, on a tear, and he's just not on a tear anymore. So take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. It doesn't necessarily mean he goes off against the Grizzlies. I wouldn't take it that way, but he did have some big games against them, even with LaMarcus Aldridge getting minutes earlier in the season. So, he has that 40 DK point upside. Let's hope he gets it here.
All righty, can't fault you. The problem I ran into with Keldon Johnson is just having too many Spurs. That was the only issue I had with it, getting him in my builds. It's like, all right, I got to draw the line somewhere. And then I thought, well, wait, who's he going up against? Oh, the guy I love that plays great defense. So so I just found the excuse not to have too much of them. But I did want some. I'll go with another Spur. Let's just Spurs it up. Patty Mills at 33. I think he's just going to be. I don't think he's going to be necessarily sneaky. But a guy just 3,300. Play him at point guard. You can play him at shooting guard. That build, it helps you all over the place. The value helps you all over the place. Over the last 5 games that he's played at least 20 minutes in every single one of them. It's a must-win game for him. We know that Derek White's already ruled out. I just see that he probably plays 20 to 24 minutes, and we're probably looking at about 20 DK points. And at 3,300, it doesn't sound like it lights the world on fire, but we're talking about a 2-game slate and getting the value to, maybe afford 2 of those studs if that's the way you want to go. So I will go with some Patty Mills. Again, a situation where I feel like we could have named 3 guys. I like this slate, man. I'm really excited. This is the best 2-game slate I've seen in a while.
It is, man. It's there's a lot of ways you can go. So might be some guys we're overlooking, but I feel pretty good about our guys.
But that brings us home. So thank you guys for listening. As always, whether you're a first-time or a long-time listener, thank you for tuning in. If you could, give us a thumbs up, 5 stars, subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it's YouTube, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever it may be. Leave a comment. We really do appreciate it, guys. It means the world to us. But it'd be pretty cool if you guys can also give us a follow on Twitter. You can find me at Mike Patria, MikeApotria. You can find Keith at Ginsberg Beats, G1NSBERG B3ATS. We will be back. No games on Thursdays. But Friday, I believe. We will be back. It won't be me, though. Won't be Keith. We'll be off. We'll be enjoying the game, kicking back, watching.
The Royal we will be back.
Oh, yeah. We'll be back. We got to get some memes going for that. But, Keith, anything you want to leave us with before we get out of here?
No, man. I just looking forward to these games, and I'm hoping we get some competitive games. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm happy that playoff basketball is here. It's like Christmas.
Absolutely. And we were on the nice list. So thank you guys for listening. We will see you later. Let's go catch some cash and win some GPPs.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.